Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I hope that you are doing well, feeling good, finding yourself in a decent place as it is about to start pouring. It has gotten dark out there. I don't know if you can tell by the room, but it's dark in here. I have all the lights on. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it should not be this dark, and yet we find ourselves here. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and listen to Locatelli, as the composer. I believe Susanne Lautenbacher, the performer, I think, or at least the conductor, perhaps. 1961. We're listening to Concerto number 11 in A major from Largo del Violino. Hope I pronounced at least something correctly. I apologize if not. We're giving this a listen, as it was suggested and sponsored by Alan. So, Alan, thank you so much for the recommendation and sending in the request. I also have some information here pulled up before we dive into the piece here. It says that it's a noteworthy and influential musical composition by Italian Baroque violinist and composer Pietro Locatelli. The 12 concerti were written for solo violin, strings, and bass continua and were published in 1733 as the composer's third opus. The virtuosic style and artistry present in the work strongly influenced violin playing in the 18th century and cemented his reputation as a pioneer of modern violin technique. So I'm excited to go ahead and dive into this one. I'm pulling it up right now so we can do that. Can I tell you what I just also just noticed? I didn't know. Okay, so I have it pulled up. I just haven't full screened it. But did you know if you click like left, it started raining. Did you know if you left click on the side over here and hold, you can pull your sidebar here. I didn't know that you could do that, and you can put it away. That's really cool because I was clicking trying to figure it out. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and listen. Maybe you learned something like I just did, or maybe not. Out of nowhere, it literally just started raining. Like I knew it was dark, but now it just, here we go. Maybe it will work with the music, perhaps. That is a grand opening. I love the little harpsichord there. Oh. Whew. Staying at the higher notes then. Working it. Now that rushing sweeping of strings comes in, almost acting like a chorus of sorts. It really does, yeah. And back to solo. I also like how modern that sounded as well. Which makes sense. That sounds incredibly hard, this particular violin run. And right back into this. This sounds like the finale of this. This sounds incredibly difficult to me and my untrained ears. But I suppose that's why it's called the art of the violin. There's such a preciseness in these notes and the movement, and having them so exact at certain critical moments. And to keep this going for so long. All right. Susanne Lautenbacher. Wow, what a talent. Now Largo Allegro Capriccio. heavier sway of romance here. I like how this drips in such a slow way. Now the violin emerges. I love that little flutter from the violin here. It's like a glorious awakening blossom. This is a really moving movement. The violin almost has a tragic kind of tone to it. This is like a returning chorus for the violin here. That's the isolation of that harpsichord is so good. Is that it for that movement? Maybe. That flutter returns. just skipping across in dalliance. I love when the soloist emerges so kind of gallantly. Gallantly. That's an interesting note. Sounds almost academic in celebration. Like it's just getting swept up. Pulling. Just like that first movement. And you know it's going to hit some grand movement in a return. It's building up to it. That's like her final run. That was phenomenal. What a really fantastic performance. We're gonna have to look up Miss Lautenbacher as well, because she was clearly the centerpiece. She was obviously the soloist. What a fantastic performance this was in every single respect, and it makes a lot of sense why this is coming from a piece known as the art of violin, because the violin is the star. It is showing off, yes, this is a very technically proficient piece of work. There is no doubt about that. And in those moments of isolation when you are only allowed to focus and hear her violin playing, it kind of makes you, or at least I should speak for myself, it makes me focus on every single stroke, slide, whatever you want to call it, of the bow across the violin, every single note that's performed and coming out of the violin. It makes me focus on each individual part of it. Kind of like in listening to a Philip Glass piece, which has a lot of repetition and it cycles, it makes me focus on every single moment and piece of the cycle. And it drew my attention to just the difficulty of playing it, and the star power that she has to memorize and play so accurately and so on point at certain critical moments, like to keep the perfect tempo and the perfect rhythm going. I think it was just out of this world. It's really cool how we got in this piece so many different feelings as well, because from the very beginning, you have something big and elegant and majestic as the rest of the string section whips up, and you have the harpsichord back there playing as well. It's just this big, a big event there in the very beginning. Kind of like we saw on the album cover with her performing along with the string section here, just like we see them here, and others in the audience listening and watching. We kind of got a big elegant performance there in the very beginning, in which we're swept up into the state of things. And it's really beautiful how that happens. And then, of course, as that is performed, these big sweeping strings, her violin begins to emerge out in such a graceful way, almost as if the crowd parts for her to step in to the limelight with her violin and then perform these beautiful solos. And not only her performing within context of the rest of the string arrangement, but then out of context in complete isolation. And those isolated moments are incredible. The first one, which is the longest one that we have, well, it's not the longest one because it does it a few times, but the longest one we do have and we do get to, I don't know exactly when it happened, but it was somewhere maybe around here. Let me pull it back up here for us. I want the complete isolation here. This whole part. How long does this last? Let's say 440. Okay. 440 until it was at least a minute or so. Here. 440 to, let's call 730. For almost 3 minutes, it is just complete isolation with her on the violin. And it sounds sweaty. In the sense that the performance sounds so intense that I can just imagine the sweat, on her brow and like the intensity continually building and building and building. I feel like this almost feels like this could be that piece that had to be worked towards. And obviously, there's a lot of talent, training, and time and hours that go into any sort of performance like this. But I feel like that just feels like a hallmark. Those 3 minutes within the context of this piece feel like the exercise, the test, the separation between some violinist and other violinist. And the way that she performed that was excellent, out of this world. As we moved into the Largo portion, I love the deep swelling and the kind of romanticism that's coming out of here. I think Largo was my favorite part in general, that particular movement. And I just love how moving it was. It was so gorgeous. It had this almost nocturnal kind of sound to it. It drifts and wanders from this way to that way in large movements and swaths, and it feels really, really beautiful. And we do still have a few more isolated moments from Lauterbach or Lautenbacher rather, in the violin department, but she's much more involved alongside with the rest of the players, which was a different and interesting turnaround from the previous movement. But it made it all the stronger as well. I don't know, and can I tell you as well? I don't know why, but this. I don't have like synesthesia or whatever, when you see colors or when you hear sounds. I don't have that. But for some reason, this part made me think of like lavender. I don't know why. It's just deep romance in the most elegant of ways. And I love this part where everything stops, allows the chords to be strummed here on the harpsichord or performed on it. And it kind of builds it up back again from there. I thought the Largo movement was really beautiful in how it blossomed out of the intensity, out of the sweatiness of the first movement. It gave us something a little bit more relaxed, put your feet up, but at the same time still nonetheless a beautiful technical achievement. Now, I'm assuming, we have the album or the record up here right now. From what I could see, it didn't show it on the screen that the movement changed, but you could hear a change here, as I believe it went back towards the Allegro Capriccio when we sped things up again back here. And we returned to some of the elegance that we had in the beginning, but just not as fast when it did so. And I thought it sounded really good as it built back to its grandiosity that it had at the beginning, but still layered with a lot of grace. And we had another solo performance from Miss Lautenbacher, which was once again excellent. And the way that she returned, you knew it was building up to it. You know it was building up to it. And once we got there, she always has little hints. There's always these little hints of notes that hint towards we're coming to the end. Here it is. That slow down. It's the up and down, that ebb and flow. And then before you know it, that little hesitation, that little pause before the final breakthrough. I think that this was a really cool piece to listen to. And even though the Largo movement was my favorite to listen to, that solo, especially the first one, was just, I think it could be, I would have to have an actual violinist give me their thoughts and opinions. That would actually make the difference. But it feels like it's one of those most intense, sweat, laborious kind of moments that I've heard recently in the violin department. Okay, we read some of the information, of course, here in the beginning. Let's see. L'Art de Violino was first published by the publishing house Roger Lessine in the city of Amsterdam in 1729. It is dedicated to the Venetian patriarch Girolamo Michealini, for whom he had performed while staying in Venice, and of whose orchestra Locatelli remarked upon the skill and unparalleled size. As opposed to his previous music, which models itself on the Roman style of Baroque composition, this was created in the newer Venetian style of Vivaldi. The music makes ample use of the violin's very high register, giving it a bel canto quality lacking in his early work. Yeah, a lot of those notes were in the higher tone, that is for sure. It contains 3 traditional movements, with the typical progression of 2 faster movements surrounding a slower, more contemplative middle movement, the Largo, which is my favorite. In each concerto, the 2 outer movements contain what is known as a capriccio. These, often lasting several minutes, can be described as kind of a written-out violin cadenza, played extemporaneously, during which the soloist is given ample opportunity to display his or her skill. Ample display was absolutely showed. It is these 24 extraordinary capricci intervals for which it attained its fame, for they are described as the most difficult violin display passages of all Baroque literature. Okay, so I'm not just whistling Winn-Dixie. I think that's incredible. That's really, really cool. Now, if you don't mind, I would like to look up Miss Lautenbacher, because her playing was phenomenal. It was just out of this world. German violinist. She studied violin with the Munich-based violin pedagogue Karl Freund. She was a prize winner in the early years of the Munich ARD violin competition. On some early recordings, her name appears as Susanne or Susie. Died in 2020 at age 88. She made a large number of gramophone recordings, appeared in many. I mean, look at come on. What a storied career. A very storied career. Wow. She taught violin for many years as well, where she was appointed to a professorship in 65. Her husband was a violinist as well. And it goes on from there. Wow. I mean, just what an incredible talent she was. That's as obviously also evidenced by the works of which she performed. Out of this world, really a fantastic piece of music and a great performance from all involved. Let me know what you all thought, of course, of this piece in the comments down below. Once again, Alan, thank you so much for the request and for sending this one in. I appreciate this. This was a great listen, and I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your day. It did rain while we were listening to the music, and now it's stopped. Sometimes it just works out that way. Have a fantastic one, and I will see you all next time. Bye.